So I wanted to come on here and talk about Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris, however you say her name. We're just gonna call her Harris. I want to come on here and talk about why she's problematic and why her Breakfast Club interview was problematic. Now, specifically, every time it comes down to the black vote and getting tangibles for black people, DOACS, descendants of American chattel slavery, the conversation always ventures into, minorities and, people of color and things like that, which these terms are not synonymous with, descendants of American chattel slavery anymore. That title applies more to foreign blacks and, other foreign people from, various different countries who come over here to America and are now, and will now be considered a minority group because they aren't, they don't have large numbers. Now, when, they ask Kamala Harris, like, what is your black plan? And then, she fidgets around, she doesn't give any direct answer. Then she starts talking about prison reform. Prison reform, yes, that is an issue. That is a big problem. That's something that we should be, looking at and, trying to fix. But when we say tangibles and when we say, what do you plan to do for black people? We don't want you to start talking about things like prison reform because all black people are not in prison. You know what I'm saying? And then she gets into, hip hop and shouting out Fife Dog and, a Tribe Called Quest. And it's just like, of course we love our culture. Yeah, yeah, hip hop. But right now, that's not what we're talking about. Right now, we're talking about the political avenue. Right now, we're talking about tangibles. Right now, we're talking about what do you plan to do for black people? Why should we vote for you? You putting on, well, I'm just going to fucking say you putting on blackface and trying to pretend to be one of us is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. This is the same woman who championing, black parents getting arrested for, truancy court and stuff like that. So, like I remember growing up, in the public school system. And, I was, a bad student probably up until late middle school and high school. But I remember getting suspended and, and if my mom wouldn't show up, they would call truancy courts and stuff like that. And it's like, people have to work. They have to pay taxes into the school system that obviously does not give a shit about, black children. So then they have a nerve to go and try to arrest the parents. Like and you a champion that, So no, Kamala, like you have some explaining to do. We need to understand. Are you on the side of black parents? Do you care about black families and children? You, because if you were champion that, like I know a lot of people's parents who, you can lose your job from always having to leave and come to the school, and it could be for the most minuscule things. So again, when we talk about having tangibles and things specifically for descendants of American chattel slavery, the conversation gets fickle and people get offended. I love all my black people, foreign black people, continental black people, our Jamaicans, the West Indies. I love all our distant relatives, cousins, whatever have you. But when it gets down to our, to what we need done in our, for our ancestral rights and what our ancestors fought for, us to get into these avenues, into these systems and stuff that we had to die for, our ancestors had to die for. I don't understand why people get offended when we now are getting serious with the shit and kind of, everybody else has to hold their own. Like, we've done enough. And it's time for us to get our communities in order, get our economics and our political base started. There's no more, freelancing the black vote. We're not just voting for people just because. We're not just lending our vote to help out other people and other causes just because it's not being done to us. We voted in a lot of people over the years who have not done a single solitary thing for black people. When I mean, like, when Obama got into office, he specifically had things done for gays. He specifically had things done for Latinos. But you know what? I don't blame him or the gays or the Latinos. They did fundraisers. They put money towards his campaign. They raised a lot of money, especially the Latinos. They raised a lot of money. So again, if they all have these communities and they all raise money to put towards the Obama campaign to get their issues dealt with and and rectified, why can't we do the same? Why is it when we say okay, descendants of American chattel slavery, let's click up, let's get down to business, let's figure out what we need to get done, then all of a sudden we're divisive and we're all one and no, like I don't understand why people think that we're so stupid. Like that tells you right there that the indoctrination and the anti-blackness is so heavily deep rooted into people that they don't even see it themselves. And then they have this Rosio Cortez woman or whatever that TYT is promoting or whatever, and she did this thing where she's like did a scenario of being the bad guy in politics, and I'm just like my cousin showed me, and I'm like, okay, so stuff we already knew. I'm like, I've been saying this shit for years. And I remember people would always look at me and say, oh, that's not true. It's a you're being a conspiracy theorist. But now all of a sudden, now people believe that the government is so corrupt that, it's very easily to get away and swindle and, like, oh, now y'all believe it. Like, this is shit we've already known. How do we know this woman is not a plant? Like, the stuff she was saying is not stuff that anybody who seriously understands politics don't already know. We know that politics is a game. We know that it is a bunch of people, basically just, using these, positions to benefit themselves and for, any other nefarious reasons or what have you. And then the Breakfast Club is sitting here promoting Kamala Harris as if she's actually going to do something for black people. Like, Breakfast Club, your main audience are black people. And the fact that y'all pushing her and promoting her and y'all gave her those softball questions, y'all did not get down to the nitty gritty, y'all didn't really get into what does she plan to do for black people is disappointing. That's disheartening. And then, now y'all have to go on different platforms and defend something she said on your show. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. The interview was whack. The fact that when it was come times to say, what are you gonna do for black people and people they want to talk about hip hop and dance and like that's corny as hell. We've seen this movie before. We've seen it before. Like who is this Kamala Harris? Kunima. I'm kidding, but who is this woman? And the same with Cory Booker. Like, why would the descendants of American chattel slavery vote for these people? Why should we vote for these people? What is the point of lending our vote? What is the point? They don't have any black agendas, any black plans. And again, just because they say minority or people of color, that does not mean they're talking about descendants of American chattel slavery. Foundational black Americans. Not what you're going to do for Latinos, not what you're going to do for gays, not what you're going to do for foreign blacks. What are you going to do for foundational black Americans? And the greatest thing about this is that a lot of us are, well, a lot of people are really waking up and seeing, okay, yeah, there is a problem here, where it seems as though, everybody else is clicked up, but we're the only ones just, caught in the middle. And, as soon as when we try to unify, then we're divisive. No, fuck that. They know if we, come together and, we unify, shit is over. There's no more using us or piggybacking off of us. There's, like, we're being used as cash cows. We're being used as cash cows where we're getting our vote pandered from. And I'm like, our ancestors did not die for us to just follow the status quo. Like, if you take a look back into our history, we had our own status quo. We lost that shit during integration. Our status quo went when we integrated, So again, we need tangibles. When you interview these politicians and these people, trying to get our vote, as soon as they start acting stupid and talking about music and hip hop and trying to dance and laugh their way out of these questions, it's not going to cut it. It's disrespectful and it's offensive. We're not fucking stupid. You have a lot of black people in college, a lot of black people with college degrees, a lot of black people who know the history, a lot of black people who see what's going on. We're not fucking stupid. And then you have a lot of people who are scared to say something. Eventually they'll get mad enough. And like, there's a song in, one of Erykah Badu and one of her old albums, and there's the interlude part where it's like, why aren't you mad? There's a lot to be mad about. And they're not saying that you have to, leave your everyday life to, to fulfill this rage, but there's a lot of things that descendants of American chattel slavery, foundation of black America should be mad about. And collectively we need to get on code and just say fuck it. If you don't have a single plan for, the foundational blacks, and there's nothing we could do for you. Do not come asking for a vote. Don't even pander to us. Like, I don't understand. If they don't plan to come to, like, if you understand politics and the fact that these people are coming to us without plans is a joke. That doesn't even make any sense. We've seen this movie before. You know, what's next? Is she gonna run on what Obama did and run on hope? Like, I don't understand why the Breakfast Club would go out of their way to back somebody like Kumala, whatever the fuck her name is, Harris, and she has no plan for Black America. Like, descendants of American chattel slavery, gang gang.